54 झाले.
54. ठीक आहे, येतील कारण पुढे वेळ होतो मग.
ठीक आहे.
एक सेकंड. ठीक आहे, मी फक्त काही सेटिंग आहेत ना त्या करून घेतो.
Recording in progress.
स्टार्ट करते हैं. अनिकेत स्टार्ट.
आवाज येतोय माझा? प्रकाश सर आवाज येतोय?
येतोय येतोय. येतोय, बोल अनिकेत. बोलिए अनिकेत जी. अनिकेत
एक मिनिट. उपस्थित सर्व टॅक्स प्रॅक्टिशनर असोसिएशनच्या नाशिकच्या सभासदांचे आजच्या या महत्वपूर्ण वेबिनार मध्ये मी अनिकेत कुलकर्णी सहर्ष स्वागत करतो. टॅक्स प्रॅक्टिशनर असोसिएशन नाशिक आयोजित या विशेष वेबिनार मध्ये आज कर सल्लागार, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट, ऍडव्होकेट या सगळ्या क्षेत्रातून अनेक मान्यवर उपस्थित आहेत. तसेच आज आपल्याला मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी उपस्थित आहेत देशातील प्रख्यात करतज्ञ, राष्ट्रीय वक्ते आणि हजारो कर व्यावसायिकांचे मार्गदर्शक माननीय सीए ऍडव्होकेट श्री रोहित कपूर सर. वेलकम रोहित सर.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच.
रोहित सर, मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर एसोसिएशन नासिक पिछले अनेक वर्षों से टैक्स प्रोफेशनल के नॉलेज और स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए निरंतर कार्यरत है. हमारा उद्देश्य केवल सेमिनार आयोजित करना नहीं बल्कि हर एक मेंबर को बदलते कानून, नई व्यवस्था और प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टीज के लिए तैयार करना है. हमारी संस्था का मूल मंत्र यूनाइटेड फॉर नॉलेज है, जिसको हम निरंतर सार्थक करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं. तर मित्रांनो, आजचा विषय आहे डिकोडिंग प्रिझम्पटिव्ह टॅक्सेशन अंडर इन्कम टॅक्स ऍक्ट 2025. भारतामध्ये आयकर व्यवस्थेच्या इतिहासात एक महत्वपूर्ण टप्पा म्हणजे इन्कम टॅक्स ऍक्ट 2025. या नव्या कायद्यामुळे अनेक संकल्पना आणि तरतुदींमध्ये बदल होणार आहे. त्यामध्ये प्रिझम्पटिव्ह टॅक्सेशन हा अत्यंत महत्वाचा असा विषय आहे. मला खात्री आहे की हा वेबिनार प्रत्येक सहभागींसाठी अत्यंत मार्गदर्शक आणि उपयुक्त ठरेल. मित्रांनो, मला आज आपल्याला सांगायला आनंद होत आहे की आपले वक्ते हे थेट अमृतसरहून आपल्याला आज मार्गदर्शन करणार आहे. मैं जीएसटी प्रैक्टिशनर्स एसोसिएशन अमृतसर के इमीडिएट पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट एडवोकेट श्री विकास खन्ना जी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो आज हमारे अतिथि को गुलदस्ता भेंट करके सम्मानित करें.
Good afternoon, everyone.
थैंक यू खन्ना सर.
Good afternoon.
खन्ना अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे आज के कार्यक्रम पर अपने विचार साझा करें.
I am Advocate Vikas Khanna, immediate past president, GST Practitioner Association, Amritsar. So this is an honor given by Tax Practitioners Association, Nasik, to honor and facilitate Rohit Kapoor ji, who is basically a renowned advocate as well as chartered accountant of our town. Through his professional excellence, he has earned a lot of respect, lot of admiration throughout the country. I wish him best of luck. Thank you, brother. Heartily congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vikas ji.
थँक्यू खन्ना सर. मी आपल्या संस्थेचे अध्यक्ष ऍडव्होकेट प्रकाश विस्पुते सर यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे मनोगत व्यक्त करावे.
Yes, thank you, Aniket ji. Namaskar, साथियों. Good evening, everyone. Our esteemed speaker, respected CA Rohit sir ji, respected Advocate Vikas Khanna ji, immediate past President GST Practitioners Association Amritsar, respected past President of Tax Practitioners Association, senior members, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Tax Practitioners Association, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. सबसे पहले मैं हमारे आज के मुख्य वक्ता सीए रोहित कपूर जी सर का हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं. सर, थैंक यू सो मच. आपने अपने व्यस्त कार्यक्रम से टाइम निकालकर टीपीएन के निमंत्रण को स्वीकार किया. इसके लिए मैं सभी टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर्स एसोसिएशन के मेंबर्स और आज के जो वेबिनार है उसके सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स के ओर से आपका आभारी हूँ. मैं हमारे विशेष अतिथि आज के एडवोकेट विकास खन्ना सर, आपका भी विशेष स्वागत करता हूँ. सर, आपकी उपस्थिति हम सभी के लिए प्रेरणादायी है. आपने हमारे एक कॉल पे आज सर का जो फेलिसिटेशन किया है उसके लिए मैं टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर्स एसोसिएशन की ओर से आपका धन्यवाद करता हूँ.
थैंक यू
सर, आज का जो विषय है हमारा, जो जितना सरल दिखता है तो उतना सरल है या नहीं, वो आज रोहित कपूर सर हम सबसे उनके लेक्चर्स के दौरान बताएंगे. लेकिन अगस्त जो है 31 अगस्त, वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रिजम्पटिव टैक्सेशन में रिटर्न्स फाइल होते हैं. कंप्लायंस और इंटरप्रिटेशन को ध्यान में रखते हुए किस तरीके से रिटर्न फाइल किए जाए, और बहुत सारी डाउट है या फिर मिसकंसेप्शन है, उसको भी आज मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि रोहित सर उस पर भी भाष्य करेंगे और आपके पूरे लेक्चर्स में उस पर लाइट्स डालेंगे. आज इनकम टैक्स की जो एआईएस है, टीआईएस है, उसके बैंकिंग डेटा जो आता है जीएसटी की तरफ से, जो इंफॉर्मेशंस दी जाती है इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट को, डिजिटल सोर्सेस उपलब्ध है, और उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए किस तरीके से प्रिजम्पटिव टैक्सेशन को अप्लाई किया जाए, उसका भी मार्गदर्शन आज हमें रोहित सर की तरफ से मिलने वाला है. यस, थैंक यू सो मच. अनिकेत जी, ओवर टू यू.
थँक्यू प्रकाश सर. मी आपल्या संस्थेचे सभासद श्रीकांत चंद्राद्रे यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी आजच्या वक्त्यांचा परिचय करून द्यावा.
नमस्कार. आवाज येतोय अनिकेत?
हो, येतोय.
हॅलो,
येतोय.
नमस्कार कपूर सर. सभी मान्यवर, आदरणीय उपस्थित आणि टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर एसोसिएशनच्या वतीने आप सभी का इस नॉलेज के भरपूर वेबिनार में मैं आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूँ. आज का हमारा विषय है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट का सेक्शन 44 एडी की, जो स्मॉल बिजनेस और प्रोफेशनल के लिए एक बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल और यूजफुल प्रोविजन है. इस सेक्शन के माध्यम से टैक्स पेयर को सिंप्लीफाइड टैक्सेशन का फायदा मिलता है और कंप्लायंस काफी आसान हो जाता है. एक 4 ओली में कहते हैं, ज्ञान की रोशनी से राह सजाए, अनुभव के से हर सवाल सुलझाए, टैक्सेशन के इस सफर में साथ निभाए, सेक्शन 44 एडी को आज सरल बनाए. आज के हमारे वक्ता एवं अत्यंत अनुभवी विद्वान और प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज वाले पर्सनैलिटी है एडवोकेट सीएस रोहित कपूर सर जी. रोहित कपूर सर एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटर और एडवोकेट है, जिनका डायरेक्ट टैक्स फील्ड में 17+ ईयर का एक्सपीरियंस है. उन्होंने 200+ सेमिनार्स कंडक्ट किए हैं और 1000+ पार्टिसिपेंट्स को एड्रेस किया है उन्होंने. सर वर्तमान में एआईएफटीपी में वाइस चेयरमैन डायरेक्ट टैक्स कमिटी के रूप में कार्यरत है. उन्होंने जीएसटी और इनकम टैक्स पर कई आर्टिकल्स लिखे हैं और टैक्समन, टैक्सुरा और रिप्यूटेड प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर उनका योगदान है। सर ने 400 प्लस केसेस आईटीएटी में रिप्रेजेंट किया है, which reflect his strong practical exposures. तो सर के बारे में इतना ही कहेंगे। ओवर टू यू अनिकेत।
थैंक यू चंद्राद्रि सर। मैं रोहित सर से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो आज का सेशन शुरू करें।
Thank you very much. First of all, I will just like to thank Tax Practitioner Association Nasik, Tapan, for giving me this opportunity to deliberate on the topic of decoding regarding the presumptive taxation. Thank you, Vikas ji, Prakash ji, the President, Sandeep ji, Prashant ji, Samadhan ji, Shrikant ji, and Aniket ji. And last not the least, my friend and my brother, Vikas Khanna ji, erstwhile President of GSTPA. I am very honored to have received the bouquet, beautiful bouquet from him. Before I start my deliberation, I will just make a small corrections. पहली बात, मैं सीए नहीं हूं, अब मैं अपनी ब्रदर की कैटेगरी में हूं, मैं एडवोकेट। और एडवोकेट का मजाक कुछ और ही है। ये बात मैंने आखिरी 6 सालों में सीखी, जब से मैंने टैक्स ट्रिब्यूनल जाना शुरू किया। और विद द ग्रेस ऑफ गॉड, नाउ वी हैव स्टार्टेड इन गोइंग इन हाई कोर्ट आल्सो, एंड आई विल शेयर यू माय एक्सपीरियंस कि वहां पे क्या क्या होता है, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स व्हिच वी फेस, और कैसे लॉ को इंटरप्रेट करना पड़ता है और कैसे किया जाता है। विद दिस thing, I will just share my PPT. Just allow me 1 minute to share the PPT. Then I will, before starting the session, I will just ask you several questions regarding the same. Just allow me. Meantime, I am just sharing the PPT. I think PPT is visible to all of you now. Sir, PPT visible hai?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, PPT is visible?
Yes, perfect.
There is no voice. My voice is audible to all of you, please.
yes sir.
Should I start the session?
Yes sir.
Okay. So what we will do is, because we are in a virtual mode, and what is required is that we should communicate through chat box. So I will try to communicate most of time with the chat box, because it is in the virtual mode, it is always advisable that to make the communication better, it is always to go through the chat box. Friends, if I talk about Income Tax Act 2025, we all are aware, friends, that number of sections in Income Tax Act 2025 are 536. I still remember that when I went to the interview for a tribunal member, the question which the judges asked me, that can you please explain, gentlemen, how many sections are Income Tax Act 1961? And my answer was 298. Because we don't used to count like 69A, 69B, unexplained credits, 68, 69C, because in every section, some numbers have been added because of amendment. So if we count all the sections in 1961 Act, the sections come to near about 819. If you please go through this 819. And now these sections have been reduced to 536. And friends, the today's lecture is regarding the presumptive taxation. If I go to my erstwhile regime in 1961, there were 3 sections which we were using daily on day-to-day basis. First, 44 AD, second was 44 ADA, and third was 44 AE. Because in many of the cases, many practitioners file these returns under the presumptive taxation, and there are n number of questions. Because nowadays my main forte is litigation, but I will try to deliver my best of the things which I have prepared with the number of questions. So I would like that each and every member to please come in the chat box to answer to make this session interesting. Friends, in this case, if I talk about section 245, please come in the chat box and tell me what is section 245 of Income Tax Act 1961. थोड़ा थोड़ा सा करें, याद आ जाएगा, मैं भी कोशिश करूंगा, आप भी कोशिश करेंगे। 245 सेक्शन क्या था? अगर मैं बात करूं इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 की, तो 245 सेक्शन फ्रेंड्स ये था कि भी जब भी कभी रिफंड आता था, वेन एवर देयर इज ए रिफंड इन द इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न and in the next year or in the preceding year there was a demand, the department used to adjust it. And for adjustment, what was required? Please come in the chat box and answer. It will be beneficial for both of us. Before invoking 245, before making any adjustment by the assessing officer or by the CPC, what was required? Required was a show cause notice why this adjustment should not be made. So friends, as per section 245, what was required was, the requirement was regarding the adjustment, a notice should be given. So in 245, there was an notice was required before making any adjustment. Now friends, if I go to Income Tax Act 2025, there is a corresponding section 438. लगता तो ऐसे सेक्शन बढ़ गए हैं, 245 से सेक्शन आ गया 438. Friends, it is not like this. But why I am explaining everything like this? There is a reason. If I talk about 245 and if I talk about section 438 of Income Tax Act 2025, I just want to ponder one thing. Please answer in the chat box that any amendment which was made in 2025, but it is made in 1961. I am just repeating my question. Any amendment which was made in 2025 and its amendment is also made in 1961, because I am referring to that in 1961 amendment regarding 225 Act has been introduced. क्या ऐसा possible है? I am saying that in 1961 there is one amendment which is related to 2025 Act. Can I make this statement at a bar that in 1961 there was one amendment which was saying that this amendment is made in 225 Act, but we are referring to here also? Yes, friends, there is a section, that is section is 245. Why 245 was there? I will just tell you the reason why 245 is here. Friends, in this case, friends, if I go to section 245, this is the section old 245. Now, if we go by section old, friends, this refers to where under the provisions of this act, and this is 1961 Act, a refund is become due, meaning thereby, friends, they are referring to this act. And this act here means, friends, if we talk about this act, meaning thereby, if there was refund under the old act and there is a demand under the new act, this was the question which was raised, whether the refund under the Income Tax Act 1961 can be adjusted against the demand which is payable in Act 2025 or vice versa. In that case, the government realized it is not possible. Therefore, friends, what happened? That in this case, section 245 came into picture. 245, I am referring to the Income Tax Act 1961 only. Now, what is the provision is where under the provisions of this act, refunds become due by any person, AO or the CITPL, set of the amount to be refunded or any part of that amount under this sum, if any remainable under this act or under the Income Tax Act 2025. So why this amendment was made? Meaning thereby, Income Tax Act 2025 was introduced in 1961 also. This amendment I was referring to. But sir, what is the relation with the presumptive taxation? There is a relation. I will just brief you what is the relation. Friends, now please come to this first. If you please go to this, understand this. This is post-amendment to Finance Act 2026. What we are referring to, friends, we are aware that in Income Tax Act 2025, we are done with the assessment year. We are done with the previous year. Now we say is at a tax year. So if demand of 3 lakhs, which was for assessment year 24-25, and there is a refund for assessment year 27-28, it was not possible if amendment in section 245 was not there. Because of this amendment, government realized that set off will not be possible. So what were the words which were pondered upon was this. If I go to the unamended act, here it is under this act. Meaning thereby a small word under this act is creating a problem. So I will use this now in section 58 because what are the presumptive taxation? Presumptive taxation is governed by section 58 standalone. 44 ADA, 44 AD, 44 AE of the old Income Tax Act 1961 have been included in only one section, that is section 58. Now friends, I am just referring to this. This is the presumptive taxation, which is 58 of Income Tax Act 2025. This is the scenario. I have just made a glossary for you that where are the sections. If you go by my sections, here are the sections. Sections are business 44 AD. Now it is 58, but serial number 1. So friends, there are, if you go by the chart, now we used to see the ready reckoners in our office. Now Income Tax Act 2025 is much more like ready reckoner. Because in this, there are tables. So what is table? In a table which is starts with section 58 subsection 2, there are 3 serial number. One is serial number 1, one is serial number 2, and third is the serial number 3. 44 AD emerges with serial number 1, 44 AE goods carriage business emerges with serial number 2, and specified profession emerges with serial number 3. Friends, in this case, what has happened that the maintenance of books of accounts, which was section 62, and 44 AB, which is now section 63. This is the glossary which we have made comparison of. Similarly, friends, regarding the non-resident sections which have now been included, because earlier section were 44B, BBA, double B, triple B, BBC, BBD, all are included only in one section, that is 61. And with serial numbers, I have mentioned that there are table number, and in table number there are serial number. Now friends, we will start with this. Friends, because I want that each and everyone should participate, so please appreciate that what I am referring to is, just I will remove this for your convenience. Yes. What I was referring to was section 28 and section 44 AD. I have just made a comparison. The comparison is in front of you now. Section 58 is first, which was section 44 AD. Now 44 AD, ADA, and AE are included in section 58. So I will just start with my first section, that is section 44 AD. If I compare both, here it refers to notwithstanding anything contained in section 28 to 43. Friends, I am referring to Income Tax Act 1961 here. Notwithstanding, meaning thereby we will overrule anything contrary to section 28 to 43. But if I go here in 58, it refers to section 26 to 54. So friends, what was missing here is section 43CA. If 43CA kya tha, we will learn and acknowledge what is 43CA. So what is key interpretation issue here? On literally reading of section 43C, for outside 28 to 43C, no, so section 44 AD, I am talking about erstwhile 44 AD, overrides section 43CA. But friends, in section 58, there is a section 53, which was equivalent to section 43CA. So friends, first we will learn that what is section 43CA. Then only we can acknowledge that what was the section. I will just refer to that what is 43CA. Friends, we are aware about section 50C. What is 50C? If I am a seller of immovable property, being land and building, in that circumstances, the value of land and building should not be less than the stamp duty value. This was section 50C. But in that circumstances, friends, what is required was, requirement was regarding the, you have to understand that in that case of section 50C, you have sold land or building, and that land or building should not be less than the stamp duty value. But it was regarding the capital asset. But in case of builder, what is required? The builder or a developer is holding a immovable property as a stock in trade. In that circumstances, friends, 43CA in old regime triggers. And let us put an example and understand this. A builder or a developer transfer one physical plot held as stock in trade. So the moment stock in trade comes, the provisions of section 43CA will be touched. The moment it is touched, what is required? We have to compare as a stamp duty value. Now coming forward, sale consideration was 1,50,00,000 lakhs and stamp duty value was 1,70,00,000 lakhs. If I compare with section 50C, 50C says that you have to, there is a margin of 10%, which we say as a safe harbor rule test. This is referred to safe harbor rule test. That is 110% of 150 crores, that is 165. But in my case, the stamp duty value is 170. Since stamp duty value exceeds the limit of 10%, which is given in 43CA also, then in that circumstances, the turnover will be replaced as 1,70,00,000 lakhs. Now my question to you all of my friends, that whether in this case, if you want to invoke 44AD, because if I talk about financial year 25-26, please answer in the chat box and come forward that if a builder is selling plot and his turnover is less than 2 crores, can he invoke 44AD or not? Please come in the chat box and answer. I request to all of you, my humble request to please answer in the chat box so that I will be able to understand that you are able to understand my question or not. My question is that if a person is a builder, he is selling as a stock in trade, in that circumstances, whether 43CA will be invoked, answer is yes, it can be invoked or not. Second, whether he can opt for 44AD or not. There is one answer from Kavita, and Shrikanji has also answered that yes, 44AD can be invoked. But friends, if we go by section 43CA, in my chat, in my PPT, you will see that in that case, 43CA is not incorporated. So friends, if I talk about 44AD, 43CA was not applicable, meaning thereby it was not overruled. Now the question was, in this case, whether the stateway addition of 20 lakhs will be made or my turnover will be replaced by 1,50,00,000 lakhs to 1,70,000,000 lakhs. This is the moot question. So friends, there are two views. First view is that my turnover should be taken as 1,70,000,000 lakhs and 8% or 6% profit should be applied if I talk about 44AD. In that circumstances, friends, if I talk about this, then please see, my sale will be replaced by 1,50,00,000 lakhs and it will be 1,70,000,000 lakhs and 8% will be applied. This figure comes to 13,60,000. And if the income is received through check, then 1,70,000,000 lakh into 6%. We are aware that in case of check, all the income should be taxed at the rate of 6%. But friends, there is one issue regarding this. What is the issue regarding this? I have just cited a judgment here. If you please come to the judgment which we am referring to, it refers to Mukesh Verma Chandan. What AO did in this case, AO made sale of 1 crore 50 lakhs and add 20 lakhs separately. But in this case, friends, the assessee has himself declared the turnover of 1 crore 70 lakhs. I can make you clear, the AO cannot make a separate addition of 20 lakhs under section if the assessee declares presumptive profit on adjusted STB value. Meaning thereby, friends, what I am trying to say here is, if the assessee has replaced the turnover by 1 crore 50 lakhs to 1 crore 70 lakhs, in that case, AO cannot make addition of rupees 20 lakhs separately. Now, moving forward, friends, if I just change this scenario and ask that, and the AO has not made any addition regarding this, I am just referring to now this. Now, view 2. This is the second view, friends. The assessee has taken, in my earlier example, the assessee has taken the turnover as 1 crore 70 lakhs and apply 8%. And the AO made addition of 20 lakhs. And now we have seen the Mumbai tribunal, they have stated that if the assessee has considered the turnover of 170, in that circumstances, 20 lakh addition cannot be made separately. Now, view 2, if AO instead of accepting the return of income, rejects your return of income and recomputes the turnover, in that circumstances, 20 lakh is there. So sum and substance is that in my first case, the AO has accepted my return of income as sale as 1 crore 70 lakhs and then invoked 8% or 6%. He has not doubted my return of income. If the AO has accepted the return of income, in that circumstances, 20 lakh addition cannot be made. But view 2 is, if the AO rejects the return of income, in that circumstances, friends, this 20 lakhs will be added separately and my sale will be treated as 1,50,000 into 8% and 20 lakhs will be added separately and total income will be 32 lakhs. But for this, first the AO has to reject the return of income and treat my turnover as 1 crore 50 lakhs and not as 1 crore 70 lakhs. In the last case which we have discussed, in this case, particularly in Mukesh Chandan, the AO made a mistake. He has accepted the return of income as sale of the assessee as 1 crore 70 lakh, for which the assessee has filed. But friends, what I am trying to show you here, if we come across section 58, 58 refers to, 58 is section 26 to 54 overruled. In this case, friends, 43 CA was not overruled. There only we made separate addition by way of 8% or by way of 20 lakhs separate. But if I go to section 58, friends, you will acknowledge and appreciate that in this case, section 53, which was old 143C, now is sitting on 26 to 54. Therefore, friends, what are the repercussions if we talk about in the new act? New act, what we say is that 58, the provisions of section 26 to 54, to the extent contrary, shall not apply. Friends, meaning thereby, AO can't change my turnover. Please note it. AO has no right to change my turnover. In this case, continuing the above example, the turnover will be taken as 1,50,000 and he can't substitute 1 crore 70 lakhs and he can't make addition of 8% separately or 20 lakhs separately, particularly considering the fact because 53 is the section which was 43 CA and now because 26 to 54 overruled and 53 sits in this category, therefore AO cannot make addition. So friends, this is the first part where there is a loss to the revenue. Please appreciate that this is a case where the revenue will be at loss because in earlier 44 AD, in case of builder, AO has right to add the separately by invoking stamp duty value either by 8% or by 20 lakhs, depends upon facts and circumstances of the case. Chaliye friends, now let's move forward and we will see that how the things turn up. 58.2 friends. This was the chart which I was referring to. Friends, 58, because earlier there were sections 44 AD, AE and ADA. There were 3 sections, and now we are aware that all sections in one section and the prime section is 58. And if I talk about 58, we are referring to 58 subsection 2. And there are the table number. Table number comprises of serial number 1, 2, 3. And there are columns. These columns are A, B, C, D, E. If I talk about first, it is 44 AD, and it refers to eligible assessee. It talks about eligible assessee, and I have mentioned eligible assessee has been defined in section 5811 subsection A. And turnover, here is a limit of turnover does not exceed 2 crores, meaning thereby if your turnover is more than 2 crores, you will thrown out of section 58. But wait for a while. There is a B clause. The turnover of 2 crores will be increased to 3 crores if the amount received in cash does not exceed 5% of the turnover. What is trying to say that? They are saying that if the total receipts is more than 2 crores and everything is received by check, there is a margin of 5%. In that circumstances, your 2 crore limit will be replaced by limit of 3 crores. And the rate, if you talk about, rate is 6% on the banking and 8% if turnover is recovered in cash. And B point is 6% or amount declared, whichever is higher. Similarly, friends, if I talk about 44A, 44A, there was only one limit. Please be with me. Here, there is no eligible assessee. They are referring to that the assessee must not own more than 2 trucks. What is the reference? That the assessee does not own more than 10 trucks, goods carriage vehicle, at any time during the previous. Now it refers to tax year, friends. 44A refers to previous year. Now here the word is tax year. Meaning thereby, friends, if I pose you a question, I am having 11 trucks. Can 44A made applicable to me even for a 1 day? I am having 11 trucks. Even the 11th truck was only for 1 day, and I sold it immediately on 2nd day. Whether I can opt for 44A, please answer in the chat box. Please answer my question. My question is very simple, that assessee is owing 11 trucks which he has sold during the previous financial year. Answer is no. You can't take it because 44A is saying own not more than 10 goods carriage at any time during the previous year. And furthermore, friends, they have defined also how to calculate the income. In case of heavy good vehicle, the rate is 1,000 per ton, and in case of other than heavy good vehicle, the rate is 7,500 per month, and the actual profit whichever is higher. If I talk about serial number 3, friends, it's referred to 62.4, 44 DA erstwhile, and it's referred to specified assessee. Meaning thereby there are 2 conditions. In third serial number, first is you have to qualify as a specified profession. Second is you have to be a specified assessee. And if your gross receipts does not exceed 50 lakhs, then in that case 50%, but this 50 lakhs will be increased to 75 lakh, where the amount of receipts in cash does not exceed 5% of the gross receipt. And rate is 50% or gross receipts, whichever is high. Now we will come to some examples to understand this. In my case, friends, if I am talking about this business scheme 58.2 serial number 1, any business except plying, hiring, leasing goods carriage, that falls under serial number 2. Meaning thereby, serial number 1 says any business except serial number 2. Second, assessees, he must be resident. There are many queries whether a non-resident can opt for section 58 serial number 1 or 44AD. Answer is no. You can't opt in because eligible assessee is resident individual, HUF or partnership firm. Even LLP is excluded. So 5811 is the gateway. So two things are excluded. I will explain separately. First is LLP is excluded. Second is that specified professions are also excluded. Meaning thereby, if I am a chartered accountant, I am also doing some business. In that circumstances, I am talking about section 58. I am not talking about 44AD and ADA because in erstwhile regime it can be taken. I am not talking about that. Friends, so please note it what I am referring to. I am referring to that in this case, who is out is LLP is excluded. Second, limit is 2 to 3 crores, but if this limit of 2 to 3 crores will be replaced only if turnover of 5% is received, greater than 5% is received by check, then limit will be 2 crores. If the amount of turnover which is received in cash is less than 5%, in that case, the turnover will be replaced by 3 crores. Friends, I am talking about the deemed rate. Deemed rate is 6 or 8% in serial number 1. Let us quickly take an example to explain it. Mr. DA resident individual runs a wholesale trading business. He is doing a business in tax year 26-27. Turnover was 2 crore 40 lakhs. First of all, the limit was 2 crores. Now they are saying 2 crore 40 lakhs. So my first question will be, first segregate amount received digitally or amount received in cash. So first segregate. First step is segregate that the amount received in digitally and amount received in cash. In this case, friends, if I talk about that, friends, received in digitally is 2 crore 34 lakhs and received in cash was 6 lakhs. So in my case, the limit of 3 crores will be available because if I divide 6 lakh by 2 crore 40 lakhs, the amount is 2.5 lakhs, which is less than 5%. Therefore, the limit is 3 crores for me. I am eligible. Now, digitally payments will be taxed at the rate of 6% and cash payments will be taxed at the rate of 8%. The total amount is 14,52,000, which will be taxable. Now, friends, moving forward, 5811 gateway. If I talk about 44AD, I am just posing you a question in case of assessee who is doing a agency business can opt for 44AD. If we go by section 44AD6, it clearly says that agency business person is not eligible. But friends, it is possible that I am a businessman and my turnover is 1 crore 50 lakhs from my one business, and I am also receiving commission from my other business from which I have received 6 lakhs rupees. So in that case, whether I can opt under 44AD in financial year 25-26. Friends, please come in the chat box and answer this query, what I have asked you. I am talking about financial year 25-26. Financial year was 25-26 and assessee is doing two businesses. One was regarding agency business and another was regarding his business. Friends, if I go by section, because schema allows, I can opt 44AD for business and for agency business thing, I can draw my profit and loss account, or I can, because it is not possible for me to show in income from other sources. So what I will do is I will draw a profit and loss account. Yes, I can show that. But friends, in the case of tax year 26-27, this is not possible. Because why? Gateway, I have mentioned some gateway. Gateway was section 58, subsection 11. And one what we have discussed was LLP is excluded. Now, negative limit that he must not carry on agency business. So friends, if I talk about tax year 26-27, if the person is doing agency business, friends, in that circumstances, he is not eligible for section 58. Meaning thereby, friends, in that case, he cannot opt for 58 and cannot file ITR 3 or whichever the ITR number is. So negative list is that if you are carrying on commission business, agency business, or you have claimed income-based exemptions like ATIB, or you are carrying out any specified profession. So let us come with some new examples. Now I'm talking about, friends, if I talk about the tax year 26-27, tax year, I am talking about tax year 26-27. In that circumstances, whether, friends, if assessee is doing two business, one is business and another is a specified profession, I am talking about specified profession, whether he is eligible to take advantage of section 58 or not. My query is this. Answer is no. Rajanji is absolutely answering the question. I request all the participants to please come in the chat box and answer the questions. So what is the difference? There is a huge difference. Earlier we used to file ITR on presumptive taxation, but for agency business, what we used to do, we used to tax under the business income by direct profit and loss count, which is now not available. Moving, friends, forward to this. I have just prepared an example to explain this, that Mr. PA resident individual runs a garment store, garment shop, 1 to 20 lakhs, all digital payment within the limits. He also earned 3 lakh insurance commission. And we are talking about financial year, not we are talking about tax year. And tax year is 26-27. In this case, gateway under section 5811 is shut for you, meaning thereby you can't opt 58. Yes, friends, audit trap. Very important, very interesting. You please come and answer with me. Please be with me. We have done 58 subsection 1. 58.1 talks about notwithstanding was replaced with the provisions of section 26 to 54. To the extent contrary shall not apply. 58.2, we have talked about table in which we have referred to serial number 1, which was talking about regarding 44 AD income. Table number 2, it was referring to 44A income, and table number 3, it was talking about specified profession. Now, friends, we are going to lower profit audit trail. Friends, please be with me because this is a very important question and I will pose you a question and you have to answer. 58.3 refers to declare profit below the presumptive rate. Here it was 8 and 6%. And total income exceed the basic exemption limit, then in that circumstances, maintain books. Yani ki section 62. Erstwhile was 44AA plus audit. Audit is 44AB. Applies by year to year and needs no prior opt-in. Mirror old 44AD4 and AD5. Now, friends, I am posing you a question. Please answer the question very attentively. You answer the question. My question is, assessee is in the first year of business. We are in Income Tax Act, friends, 2025. We are not talking about Income Tax Act 1961. So, friends, we are talking about tax year 26-27. Assessee is a partnership firm. Its turnover is 80 lakhs and profit declared is 3 lakhs. Now, the question here is whether audit is mandatory or not. Please come in the chat box and answer. In the given question, please come in the chat box and answer that for tax year 26-27, partnership firm having turnover of 80 lakhs and declaring income of 3 lakhs, whether in this case audit is mandatory or not. Yes. Manoj is saying yes, Prakash ji is saying yes, and other Shrikant ji is saying yes, audit is mandatory. I pose you this question. What is the limit for 44AB now, which is 63, for getting the audit done? What is the limit? Please come in the chat box and answer what is the limit for audit. Whether limit for audit, Harish ji is saying 2 crores. No, friends, it is 1 crore. Limit for audit is 1 crore as per section 63. It's not 2 crore. It is 1 crore. So what we were talking about, audit is mandatory or not. Yes, Prakash ji said, one, there is a proviso also, sir. This 1 crore limit will be extended to 10 crore if the payment is received through check, subject to the limit of 5%. I agree with you, Prakash ji. But in this case, what is the confusion? Like you are telling audit is mandatory or not. There is lots of confusion regarding this. I will just refer to, in this case, audit is mandatory, friends. Let us see how. Is the cessis falling with 58 at all? A partnership firm? Yes. Gateway number 58, subsection 11. What was excluded? LLP was excluded. What was excluded? You must not receive agency or a commission. But what you have not earned, any specified profession, all the conditions are fulfilled. Column E, deemed profit should be 6% or 8%, which is 4,80,000 or 6,40,000. Has the firm declared less than this amount? Yes, the firm has declared 3 lakhs. Does the total income exceeds the maximum amount chargeable to tax? In the case of firm, the limit is nil. Yes, satisfied. Consequences, books of accounts are required to be audited, notwithstanding the turnover. Now, friends, why I am referring to this? Very importantly, point to be addressed, please. I am referring to irrespective of turnover. My 1 crore turnover, section 63 will not be hit. I will tell you why. This was the view 1. I have referred to tick on view 1 and I am not satisfied with the view B. Some are of the opinion that because the turnover is less than 1 crore, in that circumstances, 63 will not be applicable. Friends, they are absolutely wrong. If we please go to the section 60, if we please go by section which has been mentioned regarding the provisions, which says that tax audit in that circumstances, friends, 63, 1, clause C and 63, 1, table point number, serial number 2 clearly states that what is refers to if a person's carrying on business or profession in section 58 subsection 2 or 68(1)(2) and the profit and gains are lower than as referred to in that section. So friends, 1 crore limit is not applicable in this section only due to the reason section 63 subsection 1 table serial number 2. Now if I talk about 44 AD, friends, now please come in the chat box and answer if I change the tax year to financial year 25-26. What will be the answer? Whether answer will remain same or not. Please come in the chat box and answer. Rajanji is very active. He's saying, sir, not required. Because in 44 AD, there is one requirement that the assessee has opted 44 AD. I will just go and tell you the reason why audit is not required in 44 AD. Please come to this compilation, you will understand. Friends, I have made the compilation regarding this. Audit trigger in 44 AD condition, you face an audit only if you have already triggered and you are locking out. Meaning thereby, if you have opted 44 AD for the very first time, in that circumstances, if your profit is less than the 8% or 6%, you can straightly file P&L and balance sheet. No audit is required. What is required? The precondition is, friends, that in that case, friends, what is required was that you have to just mention that audit is only required if 44 AD was opted. In my case, 44 AD was never opted. So friends, condition was this, and the condition is very clear. If I talk about this, it is very clear what it refers to. It refers to that this condition, this. This is the condition. And in 58, there is no such condition. 58.3 clearly specify if you have shown the profit less than the amount of 8 or 6%, you have to face an audit. So this is a major change which I have referred to. Year one treatment, no audit, declaring low profit in year one generally did not trigger 4485. So friends, what we have learned from this, I am just giving the concise reading of this. It is referred to if you are in 44 AD and this is your first year of business and your profit is, you are a firm or an individual or an HUF, and your profits which you are declaring are less than the 6% or 8%, you can straightforward file the return. No need to go to 44 AD, just enclose P&L and balance sheet. But if you are in financial year, tax year 26-27, in that case, if your profit is lower than the limit of 8 and 6%, in that circumstances, your audit is compulsory. Because in 1961, what were we used to take care? We were used to take care that option of 44 AD was compulsory. So friends, now referring to lock-in period, we are aware, friends, that was 58.7 in the new regime. And if we talk about 4484 in the old regime, an assessee who was on presumptive taxation, then any of 5 succeeding years, he declares 58.1 is barred from section 58 from next year subsequent to that year. Let us take this with an example. Let us presume I am in tax year 27-28 and I have opted out. I am not following 58.3. But in financial year, in tax year 26-27, I have opted 58. Financial year 26-27, I have opted 58. Presumptive taxation was followed. But in tax year 27-28, I don't want to follow 58 section, so I will go for audit. In that circumstances, friends, for next 5 years, meaning thereby excluding 27-28, because I opted for 27-28 to get my book of account audited under section 62. In that circumstances, 27-28, 27-28 onwards, meaning thereby 28-29, 29-30, 30-31, 30-31-32, 32-33. I am compulsory required to get my books of accounts audited, and I am not supposed to apply presumptive taxation because there is a lockout period of 5 years. If you once opt out, excluding that year, by excluding that year, in my case, I opted out in financial year in tax year 27-28, and immediately next 5 years, it will come to 28-29 to 2032-33. In that circumstances, from tax year 33-34, you are again allowed to re-enter provisions of section 58. Ultimately, there is no change in this section. So friends, we are done with this also. Now, audit is compulsory only if your income is below the, much higher than the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. And friends, section 58.9 clearly says that receipt by check drawn on bank account, which is not account paid check, shall be deemed to be receipt in cash. But friends, please note it. If I go to my section 58, I will just recall that in this case, limit criteria is there. In this case, limit criteria is there. But for 44A, there is no limit. So I am now, please answer in the chat box and answer it wisely. Don't jump it. I am having 8 goods carriage vehicle and total turnover is 1.60 lakhs. I am again repeating, please understand, I am having 8 goods carriage vehicle and total turnover is 1.63 lakhs, whether audit is required or not. मेरे पास 8 व्हीकल हैं जो गुड्स कैरिज व्हीकल हैं जिसपे 44A लगता है, अगर मैं उनकी टोटल टर्नओवर कंप्यूट करता हूं, टोटल टर्नओवर इज 1.63 crores, whether audit is required or not. Rajan ji is saying no, Anil ji is saying no. Friends, absolutely right. Prakash ji is saying no, audit is not required. Why? If we will go to section 63 and also read with section 44A, it clearly states that 63 is not applicable. So once we are in 44A or 58 serial number 2, in that circumstances, friends, audit is not required. Now we have completed this also. Moving forward, friends, audit trap we have finished. This also finished, condition also finished. Now, position under section 44 AD also finished, deeming fiction. Now, please answer in the chat box and then regarding this. Please listen my query, then answer. Assessee who is filing the return for the year under consideration under section 58 and receiving payment by check. It is a partnership form. 80 lakh is the turnover. If 80 lakh is the turnover, then the profit will be 6% is 4,80,000, for which there is no dispute. But for financial year 25-26, he hasn't opted for section 4480. There is a recovery of bad debts, 2,50,000. Now, please answer whether 2,50,000 will be applied rate of 6% or 2,50,000 will be separately taxed. I am repeating my question again. Total turnover 80 lakhs. Rate of profit 6%, payment received by check. Last year, debtors, bad debts, which were written off in the last year, which was financial year 25-26. Now, recovery has been made for that bad debts. In this circumstances, please answer that this 2,50,000 should become part of turnover or should be taxed separately. In my example, I have taken 3 claims: syndicators written back, bad debts recoveries, or scientific research assets sold. All are related to the earlier years. And please note, I have used TY. Why I haven't used previous year and I am using TY? I will tell you the reason. Yes, Prakash ji is saying bad debts deemed business income. But if I go to the section, Prakash ji, it clearly states that 26 to 54 are overruled. Prakash ji, please, I am just making you a little bit confused so that in order to make the session interesting, if I go to section 58.1, which we have discussed in starting, this says purveyance of section 26 to 54 to the extent contrary to this section. Meaning thereby 41.1, which was, or 43, which were we were talking about recovery of bad debts. Now all are included in section 38. सारे के सारे section 38 में चले गए, and 38 is sitting on 26 to 50. Now please answer with the section that whether it will be included separately or not. Anil ji, please answer again by taking into consideration the wording of section 58.1. I request Rajan ji also, Prakash ji also to please come in the chat box and answer. Should I answer? It will be separately added. All of you were correct. But the problem is we have to come to the reason. Let us examine with the reason. What is the reason? Reason is very much clear. Please appreciate that. What is the reason? Reason is here it talks about if I go by section, it talks about? It is telling about this manner of computation. I have just highlighted it. Shall not apply to the manner of computation of income. These words were not in 44 AD. Meaning thereby they are saying, we will not disturb only computation income and the turnover will be my 80 lakhs only. So bad debts recovery plus other things, creditors return off are required to be separately added. All of you were correct in understanding, but the reasoning is here. So friends, if I talk about this query, which I was referring to, it is very simple that in my example, in this case, what was required to be added was 12,50,000 plus 4,80,000. Correct answer is 17,30,000 and 4,80,000 is the wrong answer. Now referring to 102 to 106. Please now answer it very carefully. My staff who are learned advocate and some of the chartered accountant also, they were posing me a question, sir. I have declared my turnover and filed my return under section 4480. Thereafter, I receive a notice from the AO that in the bank, there is an entry of rupees 6 lakhs. Kindly explain. And my office replied that we are not maintaining books of accounts. Therefore, we are not required to explain the entries in the books of accounts. Now, the question here was whether 68 section, which talks about that if the amount is unexplained in the books of accounts, its separate addition is required. Whether if I have filed the return of income under section 44AD, provisions of section 68 can be separately invoked or not. Please come in the chat box and answer. 68 की प्रोविजंस अलग से 44 AD के असेसमेंट के टाइम AO लगा सकता है कि नहीं, whether AO can invoke separately provisions of section 68 if the assessee has filed the return under section 44 AD. I am aware I am before the August audience and therefore there is a confusion. Some are saying no, some are saying yes. Friends, if I am the AO, I will ask you, please provide me the list of debtors. Because while filing the return of income, you have mentioned in 44 AD, sundry debtor, sundry creditor, cash balance, bank balance, investment. How it is possible without books of accounts, you are giving this information? Meaning thereby, from inner heart, you are maintaining books of accounts. Once in the notice, you have agreed that I am maintaining books of accounts only while filing the return of income, then in that case, even there are many cases in the favor of the assessee, which says that if the assessee is not maintaining books of accounts, then 68 addition cannot be made. But friends, it all depends what reply you are giving before the AO. So if you ask me the answer in the straightway casual manner, I will say it will not be applicable because books of accounts are not maintained. But when we talk about that, if we are in litigation, it depends upon the case. I will say that you have filled, because when I will come to the compliance portion, I will share with you what are the compliances under 44 AD, which are amendment there and which are very relevant. So friends, if there is no books, 68 cannot be invoked. If there is a books, 58 can be invoked. 68 can be invoked. Set off against presumptive income. Very important, amendment 58.4. So please be with me and answer question very carefully. This is the heart of section 58.4. This amendment will destroy each and every person who is opting 44 AD. So please, we will compare. If I talk about 44 AD, this section starts with any deduction allowable under provisions of section 30 to 38 for the purpose of subsection 1 shall be deemed to have been given full effect. What is its meaning? They are saying that if you have opted for presumptive taxation, then all deductions shall be deemed to have been allowed. Meaning thereby, if I have opted 80 lakhs into 8%, 4,80,000, no deduction for depreciation shall be separately allowed. Very much clear? But wait here. If I ask you a question that in my last year, there was unabsorbed depreciation or there was a brought forward loss of 6 lakhs rupees, whether that amount can be adjusted against the presumptive income or not. Presumptive income for the year under consideration in my example was 4,80,000. Brought forward loss was 6 lakhs. Whether in 44 AD, I am talking about 1961, whether this income should be, return should be filed at nil or at 4,80,000. We are referring to the partnership form. Please come in the chat box and answer. Anilji is saying 4,80,000. Anilji, you are talking about 44 AD or you are talking about 58.4? Anilji, you are wrong. Please see any deduction allowable under section 30 to 38. And friends, loss is covered under section 72 category, not in 30 to 38. So loss can be set off. Anilji was wrong and Prakashji was right. Income will be nil. Now, if we go by 58.4, what is the phraseology? Please listen. Any loss means whether loss brought forward, current year loss, allowance, deduction allowable under the provisions of this act shall not be allowed. So friends, in 58.4, what Anilji was saying was correct, but in 44 AD, it was incorrect. Please appreciate this, then we will move forward. I hope I am able to make my point. There is a complete comparison of 44 AD2 and 58.4. If you talk about 44 AD2, it refers to only deemed to be allowed with word 30 to 38. It does not refer to section brought forward losses. But if I go by 58.4, new section, it says any loss, any deduction, any allowance shall not be adjusted against the presumptive income. So what are the repercussions? Let's understand with the help of example. Let's see what is the example here. I am just referring to one example for which we will answer with you. Yes. Now please answer this. Tax year is 27-28. There is a loss from income from other sources 5 lakh rupees. This loss. And income under the SSC under 58 is 25 lakh rupees. Whether, what will be the income? Please come in the chat box and answer. Please come in the chat box and answer. What will be the total income for the tax year 27-28? $20 lakhs. Rajanji is saying 20 lakhs. Absolutely right. Which section is saying? 58 subsection 4. Because no loss shall be allowed. Yes, everybody is correct. So let us move to financial year 26, 25, 20. If I change this and say it is a 25-26, then my answer will be, please answer this, whether this answer was 20 lakhs or right or wrong. We are referring to 2858-4. Next year is 2728. Friends, I'm sorry. Let's read once again the section. Let us come and read. 58.4 says, any loss, allowance or deduction under 58.4. 58.4 is Income Tax Act 2025. So if I go by this, in this case, the correct answer is 25 lakh and not the 20 lakhs. This tax year is 27-28. No set off will be allowed. Please understand, your answer was wrong. I was just to inspire your confidence. I was saying yes, 20 lakh was the correct answer. Please understand, Rajan ji. Please understand, Prakash ji. Please understand, Snehal Kumar ji, that correct answer is 25 lakhs. No set off allowed. Now, friends, I am referring to another example. Please appreciate this. Brought forward loss will become this 15 lakh, which is for financial year 25-26. Read as BF, not as CF. Income was 28 lakhs. Now, please answer whether income will be 13 lakhs or 28 lakhs. Tax year is 26-27. Rajan ji is saying 13 lakhs. Anil ji is saying 13 lakhs. Tax year is 26-27. What does 58.4 says? Shashank ji is saying 28 lakhs. दोनों में से एक तो आंसर होगा ही. Shrikant ji is saying 28 lakhs. Saving clause. Anil ji is referring to saving clause 536. Friends, चलिए पढ़ते हैं, मेरे साथ पढ़ेंगे और सेविंग क्लॉज कैसे करेगी. Let us understand. First of all, without referring to, please. What we will do is, without referring to this, what is 58.4 says? Any loss, allowance, or deduction allowable under the provisions of this act. This act means here Income Tax Act 2025. But friends, saving clause, what my friend was talking about. 536 subsection 2 clause M says any loss for the previous year for the repealed act will become the loss for the current year. Therefore, friends, it will become loss for this. So the correct answer will be 13 lakhs or 28 lakhs. Please answer now. Loss will not be allowed to be set off. So the correct answer is 28 lakhs only, friends. Don't get confused that it is written as under this act. Under this act has been provided and corrected by section 536 subsection 2 clause M. So all of you, I just want to correct Anil ji, I just want to correct Rajan ji that the correct answer is 28 lakhs and the 13 lakh is not the correct answer. I hope I am able to make my point clear now. Should we move forward? Please appreciate and chat in the chat box with thumbs up. Friends, we are moving forward towards now new thing. What is this? 44 AD. We have already done this. If you talk about 44 AD, this set off was available, 8 lakh minus 50,000, net income would be 7 lakh 50,000. If you talk about 58, 8 lakh minus 50,000, no set off available, answer is 8 lakhs. House property loss. Now, please, challenge is here, and I want that each and every one should answer this question very carefully if I am asking you. Please, 115 BAC means new regime. And if I talk about this section is 202 in Income Tax Act 2023. So क्या है ये 115 BAC क्या है? न्यू रिजीम में हम बात करें कि भाई नई ऑप्शन में हम हैं, we will be provided exemption of rupees 87A, which was earlier of 12 lakh rupees if we talk about it. So friends, up answer it very carefully. I am talking about financial year 25-26. Income is 12 lakh. House property is 2 lakhs. Tell me what return you will file, what will be the total income of this SE, whether 12 lakh or 10 lakh as per section 1961 of Income Tax Act 1960. Anil ji, Manoj ji, very nice answer. I am surprised. Kebi, you are aware that this 2 lakhs will not be allowed, but why? Tell me the reason. Friends, in 158 BAC 3, it has been mentioned that of Income Tax Act 1961, if you are opting for new regime, you will not allowed to set off only house property loss, not other losses or losses which are based upon specific deductions. In that case, this 2 lakhs will not be adjusted, but will be allowed to be carried forward. I have mentioned can be carried forward. Appreciate this, can be carried forward. So correct answer for house property, if this is the house property, then Anil ji is saying what is the use of carry forward? There is a use. In 8 years, you can shift the regime and make it set off. This carry forward is, this brought forward, this adjustment is only for the person who has opted 115 BAC. Anil ji, I think I'm able to make my point clear now. Now, as per Income Tax Act 1961, 12 lakh minus 2 lakh, not possible. We are aware, here the income will be 12 lakh only. But my question is, in Income Tax Act 2025, carry forward is also not permitted. Why I'm telling you, please understand this. Because of section 2023, I have mentioned that 202B without set off. This is the section, and 2023 refers to that this loss shall be deemed to have been given full effect. Meaning thereby, if I compare 2025 with 1961, in 1961, house property loss was allowed to be carried forward, but in 2025, after tax year, within tax year, start from tax year 26-27, this 2 lakhs will not be allowed to be carried forward also. Okay. I will use Hindi and English both. No issues, sir. No issues. So, मेरी personal request ये है कि what I am talking about that 12 lakh rupees will be adjusted. This 2 lakhs rupees will be adjusted in Income Tax Act 2025 और क्या ये 2 लाख रुपया हम adjust कर सकते हैं कि नहीं? Answer is in Income Tax Act 2025 ना हम एडजस्ट कर पाएंगे, ना हम कैरी फॉरवर्ड कर पाएंगे. अगर हम 1961 की बात करें तो फ्रेंड्स जरूर हम इसको एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. हम इसको एडजस्ट नहीं कर सकते 1961 में, बट कैरी फॉरवर्ड कर सकते. Moving friends forward to this. Now this is a scenario. उस लास्ट स्लाइड में क्या था सर, हमने 115 ऑप्ट कर रखा था. यहां पे हमने क्या किया, नॉट ऑप्टेड. प्लीज बी केयरफुल. आपने ऑप्ट नहीं किया, अगर आपने ऑप्ट नहीं किया तो बताइए ध्यान से 44 एडी में 1961 में क्या होगा? दिस इनकम विल बी व्हाट विल बी द इनकम इन 44 एडी अगर आपने 115 बीएससी ऑप्ट नहीं किया हुआ। Shrikant ji is saying answer will be 10 lakhs. प्लीज देखिए 158 बीसी 3 में लिखा था कि आपको सेट ऑफ नहीं मिलेगी, meaning thereby in this case set off is permissible because 158 BAC we have not opted, therefore 10 lakh will be the income. But in the present case, in this case, the income will be 12 lakh only because 58.4 is the blockage. चलिए फ्रेंड्स 58.6 कुछ नहीं कहता, 58.6 ये कहता है कि if any depreciation will not be separately allowed, it will be deemed to be allowed. But friends ध्यान से रखना बात, if I talk about, please ध्यान से अनअब्सॉर्ब डेप्रिसिएशन की बात करूं, अनअब्सॉर्ब डेप्रिसिएशन की बात करूं तो वो उसका सेट ऑफ 72 में नहीं आता, उसका सेट ऑफ 32 में आता है। तो मैंने एक एग्जांपल बनाया है फॉर योर कन्वीनियंस, ध्यान से देखना। पहले एग्जांपल को मैंने जानबूझ के यहां पे कंफ्यूज किया है, ध्यान से। प्रॉफिट 2 lakhs बिफोर डेप्रिसिएशन, डेप्रिसिएशन वाज 6 lakhs, depreciation against absorbed profit 2 lakhs, what will be carry forward was 4 lakhs. And friends, it is carry forward under section 32. So friends, next year, that is the financial year, tax year 25, 26, 27, my presumptive income is I am carrying 5 light goods vehicle. So goods light vehicle will be 7,500 per vehicle, into 5 are the number of vehicles, into 12 is the months, total income is 4 lakh 54. Now whether this 4 lakh can be absorbed or not, please come in the chat box and answer. Shrikant ji is saying no, and very rightly said by Shrikant. Manoj ji is saying no, because first of all, 58.4 is there. Second also, this is falling under 32 category. And it is falling under 26 to 24. Had it been with the brought forward loss of house property or brought forward loss of business, which is allowed under section 72, in that circumstances, things have been changed. So answer is correct. Moving forward, friends, business of applying and hiring. Now we are covering serial number 2. Friends, what is necessary that coverage is that business must be of applying, hiring, goods and carriage, which expressly excludes serial number 1. And assessee, please be with me, very important. In serial number 1, assessees were assessee, individual, HUF, firm, LLP or company was excluded. But friends, under 44A and in serial number 2, LLP or company are eligible to opt 58 serial number 2 or 44AE. Only condition is that trucks you own should not be more than 10 at any time during the previous. Possession under hire purchase is eligible, but if you take them on rent, then you are not the owner of the goods carriage. Let us dissect this section. What is it saying? No 5-year lock-in period, no cash deemed. These conditions are not applicable. 5-year lock-in period is not applicable to 58.2. Serial number 2, it is not applicable. No cash deeming. If you are receiving in cash, not receiving in cash, it hardly any matter. No turnover threshold. Threshold limit is not applicable. On all firms shall be allowed. Furthermore, friends, partner salary and interest should be allowed separately if there is a firm. Friends, please note that if I talk about section 58 serial number 1, which were referring to 44 AD, partner salary and trust was not allowed separately. But if you talk about 44 AE or 58 serial number 2, partner salary and interest will be allowed separately in case of 58 serial number 2 and 44A. Moving forward, friends, वो अलग से मिलेगी आपको. So I have just made a query that whether in case of SSC being a partnership firm engaged in the business of applying, hiring or leasing goods carriage, serial number 2, the salary and interest are allowable. Yes, it is allowable subject to section 35. This is the example. 13 lakh was the total income of the firm. Salary is 9,60,000. So what will be the income will be 13 lakh minus 9,60,000. So 7,500 income which was computed at 13 lakh rupees shall be subsequently reduced by 9,60,000, which is as per provisions for salary and interest. Now, friends, let us channelize one more example. Sharma Transport, a firm, plies goods carriage in tax year 26. They are having seven vehicles, rather 9 vehicles, 4 vehicles, 15,000 kg, GVW owned for all 12 months, 3 light vehicles and 2 light vehicles, meaning thereby there are 5 vehicles which are light vehicles and 4 vehicles are which are heavy good vehicles. So total number of vehicles is 4 plus 3 plus 2. Total is less than 9. I am eligible. Serial number 2, hire purchase vehicle count as owned as deemed to be the you will be deemed as owned. So 4 into 12 into 1000 into 15. Why 15? Let us see why there is a 15 here. Because please be with me. 15,000, 1,000 per ton. If I convert 15,000 to ton, it will be 15. So 4 into 15 into 1,000 into 12 is 7,20,000 is my deemed income. In second case, 3 into 12 will be my total income. 3 into 7,500 into 12. And for the last vehicles, it was taken on 20th November. Friends, part of month is to be taken as a full month: November, December, January, February, March. So will be 5 months. 2 into 7,500 into 5 is the answer is 75,000. Total will be 10,65,000. From this amount, separately, partner salary and interest will be allowed separate. Similarly, I have given some other examples you can do on your own. Yes, this is a quick recap. Goods vehicle weight is exactly 12,000. 58 says that requires the weight to exceed 12,000 rupees at exact 12,000 in other than heavy vehicles, meaning thereby if your vehicle weight is exact 12,000, it will be treated as the category of light good vehicle and rate will be 7,500. If you bought a carriage vehicle on 28th March, 1 month will be considered. And 11th, if you are having 11 vehicles, then you are out of this 58.3. Carriage on hire purchase eligible. Turnover criteria not eligible. Can a company or LLP can find? Yes, they are eligible. Firm or partnership sell interest allowed. 5-year lockage not available in this. These were the things, friends. Now referring to the definition of specified profession. Last category is 58 subsection 3. 58 serial number 3. If we talk about, friends, serial number 3, 58. Earlier it was 44 ADA. And it refers to, if I go by section 58, subsection 3, there was a condition that you must be in specified profession. First condition is specified profession. And second condition is specified assessee. So if I go by specified profession, it refers to legal, medical, engineering, architectural, accountancy, technical consultant, interior, decoration, information technology, or company sector. Friends, if I talk about 44 AD, there were legal to interior decoration, 2 which were earlier in notification. So information technology and company secretary in 44 AD were included only because of notification. And friends, one category which I have circled here in block is authorized representative and film artist were also included by way of notification. But friends, under amended act, what I'm trying to make your attention that all these notification, information technology and company secretary are now specified profession under section 62(4). But still, film artist is not covered in 62(4). Now, question arose whether a film artist can opt 58 or not. Answer is very simple. Saving clause, which helps. I am referring to saving clause. This is the friend saving clause, which says that all notifications in the repealed act will be made applicable here. Therefore, the film artist, which was not included in section 62(4), has now been included here because of saving clause 536(2) subsection J, clause J. And friends, there are two judgments regarding the Supreme Court, which says personal intellectual skill is required for professional skill. So I pose you a question. Please, a nursing home, a partnership firm can take the benefit of 44 ADA. Nursing home, a partnership firm. Anil ji is saying yes. Sachin ji is saying yes. Prakash ji is saying no. Amol ji is saying no. Mixed views. Friends, as per the Supreme Court judgment, they are saying that individual skill is required. Therefore, personal intellectual skill is the hallmark. Therefore, I have also referred to one judgment of Delhi. A company being an artificial person cannot be said to possess any personal skills. वैसे भी 44 ADA में eligible assessee company is barred, LLP is barred, but firm is eligible, but because of personal skill, they can't, because of these judgment, they can't take the benefit of 44 ADA. But friends, be aware. But in case of chartered accountants, we are making firms, partnership firms, and all the chartered accountant, because in case of chartered accountancy firms, you are not eligible to make a partner who is not a chartered accountant and you're doing the audit in that concerns. So those concerns are eligible. It all depends upon the facts and circumstances of the case. Moving forward, friends, I have just tabulated some of things for you for quick review regarding this, that film artists, these are the persons that camera directors, music directors, writers, any person engaged in the professional capacity in the production of these and these films, whether produced by him or other person, will be treated as this because of 1977 notification read with saving clause. They are also eligible for 44 ADA and 58 clause. Example, I have made some examples for you. You will just do this at your own. Now refer to friends. There are some definitions we have done already. Quick regarding the compliance, because I have only 15 minutes and I just want to share with you some of my experience. I am more in litigation, but because of ITR, some of the things we are required to do. Friends, there are amendment in ITR also. We were talking about books of accounts. This is the list. Now see, 44 AD, we are asking, give partners, member details, secured loans, unsecured loans, syndicators, other liabilities, fixed assets. This investment portion is now included. Inventories, sundry debtors. If you are giving this all details, they are having their all details, but obviously your books are met. So friends, this investment portion is now been added. So investments are required to be reported. Section 61(2) is again regarding the non-resident. I have made a quick brief for you. It will be helpful. Now the question was TDS on presumptive. I also want to acknowledge that in my office also, they are not doing this, I am saying them again and again in case of presumptive taxation, because limit is 2 crores in case of business, whereas for TDS applicability, limit is not 2 crores, friends. In many of the cases of individual, limit is 1 crore. So friends, I just want to share you that yes, TDS continues to apply, because we have to see in case of individual whether or not, and in case of firm, it is applicable from very single penny, provided the limit of this. If I talk about section 194T, friends, which was regarding the payment of salary interest, because many of firms are filing the return under 44 AD. In that case, their TDS is required to be deducted, because TDS disallowance is not done, but the TDS default will be there. What I'm trying to convince is, even if you don't deduct TDS, in that case, friends, you have opted for 44 AD or 58 in spite of fact, because 40AI sits in section 28 to 43C. Therefore, separate disallowance is not there, but default for TDS will be there. So this is the case, non-disclosure of foreign assets. Friends, I will just like to highlight one of the key points which are very important. Friends, if you are a resident and ordinary resident, in that circumstances, if you are owing any asset outside India, you are required to report it. But there is a limit, and the limit is this. I have referred to for movable asset, the 20 lakh threshold limit is calculated by combining all such assets. Friends, 12 lakh was the overseas land, I am out. But shares banks, if I combined it, it comes to 12 lakh plus 5 lakh plus for 10 lakhs, it comes to 27 lakh. Friends, for 20 lakh is only for, it was only for the overseas movable assets, not immovable assets. Friends, so if I have referred to overseas land, I have referred yes. I am talking about earlier act. And these are movable, and these movable are 10 lakh and 5 lakh. I have referred to no penalty, but prosecution, yes. So friends, even if the liability was of the overall bank account was less than 20 lakhs, then also if you don't disclose, prosecution was there. But friends, by Finance Act 2026, they have given this exemption. So please do report. And friends, I am also making you one thing aware that post Finance Act 2026, there are changes. Earlier, if you compare, I have referred yes here. Now it is no here. So even if for shares and bank, the limit of 20 lakhs, which was this, that penalty was only abated, now the prosecution has also been abated. But for this immovable property, there was no limit, no exemption. If you please come to today also, there is no exemption. Friends, amnesty scheme is there. So please do follow the amnesty scheme. If you are filing the return and you have failed to disclose the foreign assets, the amnesty scheme has been disclosed. 1 lakh is the fees if the amount was out of disclosed forces for all the years. But amount is 5 crores, eligibility amount is, and if there is a non-disclosure and it is out of undisclosed income, then the amount is 60% which you are required. Moving forward, friends, this is the important thing. There was in July, we noticed that there was one board circular regarding that the board has given that all FIU units are required to upload the foreign information, asset information on the AIS portal. So friends, it is coming under the AIS portal. If you go to the reports, then foreign assets information, you please press this tab and you can able to download this tab. This is the foreign asset information. So friends, I request all of you that while filing the return of income, do take care of this also. Compliance, again, regarding this, there are some options that in future and trading options, turnover from future and options is now added, because earlier it was not added. And now if you are maintaining, because FO and trading account, we have to take positive and negative and we have to club them together. So turnover from turnover is required to be reported here. And income from future and turnover transferred to profit and loss account. These are the two columns 12C, rows 12C and 12D, which are now have been added, and therefore they are required to be added. This amendment is again in MSME, where we are maintaining proper balance sheet and we are filing the return. In that circumstances, Part A OI, other information, interest disallowable under Section 23. Friends, we are aware that if we don't make the payment in 45 days or 15 days, as per 43BH, the amount is disallowed. But friends, interest is already disallowed, even you make payment on time. And if you make payment of MSME, small and medium, in that category, that interest is disallowed and is required to be reported in serial number 17 of Part A of OI. Partners in partnership firm, these two columns have been included. Earlier it was not included, so I have mentioned for the sake of convenience that these two columns have now been included. Amount of interest due or received or amount of remuneration due or received is now included and therefore is required to be separately disclosed. ATG deduction, transaction reference number, IFC code, ARN number are required to be disclosed separately. Friends, I have mentioned some of the queries also, that what is the fees, what is the revised return. For the convenience, I have mentioned each and everything which can be do. There were certain questions which the Nasik team has forwarded me. I will just go through them quickly so that any of the question is not unaddressed. There was one question that if the taxpayer has opted for presumptive taxation, whether he is required to produce books of accounts during assessment proceedings. If you answer me, I want to substantiate my business, that this is the business. Complete books of accounts are not required, but yes, I have already shared you the screenshot, debtors, creditors, investment, bank account, cash balance, everything they are asking. So it is not possible without books of accounts. Next question was, if the person who is having GST registration, whether he is not eligible for 44AD, friends, there is no such requirement. If you are having GST number, you can definitely file the return under 44AD. There is no embargo. Next question was, under what circumstances tax audit required even after opting for presumptive taxation? Friends, if you opt in and thereafter you opt out and declare the profit less than the presumptive ratio, that is 6%, 8%, or 50% under 44ADA, in that circumstances, friends, you are definitely required to get books of accounts audited. Either way, if your turnover exceeds 2 crores rupees and 5% criteria is not fulfilled, in that circumstances also audit is required. But subject to 44AB, where the limit of 10 crores have been increased, we have to keep into mind. Next query is regarding the Section 44 ADA. If actual expenses are 70% of gross receipts, whether still I am required to file my return of 50%. Friends, it is written there. The question here is, क्वेश्चन का क्या है कि मेरे पास 70% खर्चे हैं प्रोफेशन के, पर क्या मुझे फिर भी 50% प्रॉफिट दिखाना है? Answer is yes. You are required to compute the profit at 50%, but obviously you can't take the capitalization of this 50%. Next query is, if business incur a loss, it is still mandatory to file the 6% or 8% profit under 44AD. Friends, please read section 44AD5. बड़ा क्लियर लिखा है कि अगर आपकी इनकम टैक्सेबल लिमिट से कम है तो आप पे 44AD की प्रोविजंस नहीं लगे. अगला क्वेश्चन है फ्रेंड्स, इफ टर्नओवर एक्सीड्स 2 crores, thus the benefit of 44AD becomes unavailable. मैंने आपको पहले ही बता दिया है कि 2 करोड़ से लिमिट 3 करोड़ हो चुकी है. जहां 95% रिसीट्स डिजिटल पेमेंट से आए, वहां पे आपकी लिमिट 3 करोड़ हो जाए. अगला क्वेरी ये है, क्या 44AD में भी पार्टनर सैलरी इंटरेस्ट अलग से मिलेगा? आंसर इज नो. पार्टनर सैलरी इंटरेस्ट सिर्फ एक जगह मिल रहा है, दैट इज 44A. अगला क्वेश्चन सर ये था, कैन ए पर्सन हैविंग बोथ बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशनल इनकम can simultaneously file return under 44AD and ADA. स्कीमा हमें प्रोवाइड करता है, बट जब हम टैक्स ईयर 26-23 में चले जाएंगे तो स्कीमा भी हमें अलाउ नहीं करेगा। तो आज तक अलाउ कर रहा है, वट एग्जैक्टली इज द लॉक इन पीरियड, ये मैंने आपको एग्जाम्पल से पहले बता दिया है। लास्ट क्वेश्चन, इफ एन एसएससी मेंटेन्स रेगुलर बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स इन इट्स मैंडेटरी अंडर लॉ टू डिक्लेयर। नहीं साहब, अगर आपने कभी ऑप्ट इन किया ही नहीं 44AD, तो आप चाहे वो अपनी नॉर्मल रिटर्न फाइल कर दें विद प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट एंड बैलेंस शीट, आपको ऑडिट करवाने की रिक्वायरमेंट। With this, friends, if you have any queries, there is one query from Anil ji. I am just addressing is that can I take the benefit of 201 of 1961 in Form 26AS in case of no deduction of partnership salt? देखिए अनिल जी, मैंने ये क्वेरी कवर कर रखी है। इनका क्वेश्चन ये है कि मैंने रिटर्न भरी 44AD में, और क्या मुझे टीडीएस का बेनिफिट मिल जाएगा मैंने अगर कोई डिडक्शन नहीं किया बाय फाइलिंग फॉर्म 26A। फॉर्म 26A क्या होता है कि अगर सामने वाले ने टैक्स भर दिया है तो उसका बेनिफिट मिल जाएगा आपको 26A से। ये तो डेफिनेटली है कि आप पे टीडीएस की प्रोविजंस नहीं लगेंगी, बट असेसी इन डिफॉल्ट के लिए वहां पे आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा अनिल जी। चलिए, विद फ्रेंड्स, दिस आई एम जस्ट कंक्लूडिंग माय सेशन and I am very thankful to you. If any person has any query, please come in the chat box. Otherwise, we are concluding the session.
थँक्यू।
थँक यू रोहित सर. प्रकाशजी, माझा आवाज येतोय?
यस यस।
वास्तव में आपने अत्यंत सरल और प्रैक्टिकल तरीके से इतने महत्वपूर्ण विषय को समझाया। अब हम क्वेश्चन और आन्सर की तरफ बढ़ते हैं. मी सर्व सदस्यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी त्यांचे काही प्रश्न असतील तर विचारावे.
हँड केलं की अनम्यूट करता येईल आपल्याला अनिकेत?
सॉरी,
हँड केलं कोणी की अनम्यूट करता येईल. कोणाचे काही क्वेश्चन्स
क्वेश्चन्स असतील तर हँड रेज करावे.